This content calendar is responsible for generating over 100K in revenue for my business in less than a year. And I'm confident it can help you generate similar results too. So in this video, I will go through the 3 checkpoints that you have to go through if you want to build a calendar that generates recurring revenue for your business, and how to fill that calendar 10 times faster with a very simple formula. But first, we need to talk about why you actually need a content calendar if you want to generate consistent revenue for your business. Isn't it enough to just post content and wing it? Well, just imagine stepping on an airplane without having any idea of where you are going to. You might enjoy the freedom for a little while, but soon you will find yourself going around in circles and enjoying very little of your trip because you didn't even pack the right stuff. Think about it. Trying to create content without a solid plan is like wandering around without a map. You end up wasting so much time, and honestly, you will not be able to achieve the revenue and lifestyle goals that you've been dreaming about. So a content calendar gives you a way to save at least 3 hours per week creating content, to grow your following while increasing your revenue, and be able to incorporate experiments that have the potential of exploding your growth. So what's the first checkpoint if you want to generate additional revenue for your business? Back when I started posting content online, I was not making a single dime. And I did not have any other job, so I better start getting some results. It was super frustrating to say the least, and I would start to actually feel the pressure. But then I did make a simple change. And 2 weeks later, there it was. My first client coming directly from my content. Now, look at my content calendar before I made this crucial change. Can you spot what I was doing wrong that was preventing me from, closing deals? Well, I was creating content for 8 different platforms while still trying to grow my business and, have a life. But honestly, if you really want to generate results fast, you simply cannot be on 8 platforms at the same time. Unless you have, a crazy team behind you, you are literally shooting yourself in the foot. So yes, your content calendar should be focused on 1 or 2 platforms that ideally overlap with the platforms where your target audience actually hangs out on. And that's what I did with LinkedIn. I ditched all the other platforms, I went full focus mode on LinkedIn, and it worked. And so the first checkpoint you simply can't miss when building your content calendar is focus. Now, which of these hooks sound more compelling to you? This is how to choose your next travel location. This is how to choose the perfect location to take your significant other in under $5,000. Yeah, the second one sounds better because it's more specific, it's relatable, and it is trustworthy. The problem is that you can only write the second version if you actually knows what your audience cares about. So something very practical that I include in my content calendar is what I call insider information. So before ideating any piece of content, I always start with the insider information that I have about my audience. So I literally have a column on my content calendar where I have all of these details. I'm talking about their pain points, their goals, the fears that they have, what makes them tick, and how do they spend their time. So with this inside information about my audience, I can pretty much turn any of these responses into dozens of content pieces that pretty much write themselves. So let's imagine that one of the goals of your target audience is to spend quality time together with their significant other. Makes sense. So your next content piece could actually be 10 activities to create unforgettable memories with your loved one in your next summer vacation. This is the type of content that does well because you already know that your audience wants it. And why is that the case? Well, because you have done your research. But research enough is not alone. And if you do miss the third checkpoint, you actually risk creating great content that attracts the right audience, but does not convert them into paying customers. Just imagine arriving in Istanbul during summer, 30 degrees Celsius outside, and you open your luggage and the only thing that you can find are winter clothes. Yeah, such a bummer, right? But if you build your content calendar without this third checkpoint in mind, that's exactly the experience you are delivering to your audience. You are giving them warm clothes when all they want is summer and a Turkish ice cream experience. And that's because each idea on your content calendar should be crafted with a clear understanding of where your audience is on their journey. So if they are in the awareness stage, their goal is to learn and discover, not to purchase. So your content should mirror the intent by being informative and entertaining without actually pushing for a sale. When they are in the consideration stage, your potential customers are basically looking for solutions to their problems. So that's important that your content establishes trust and actually positions you as an effective alternative for their problems. At the final stage, you need to be very clear on how your product or service is the solution to their problem, because their goal is to make a purchase. And so your content should honestly facilitate that by offering case studies, testimonials, demos, or special deals. So taking all of this into consideration, your job when building your content calendar is basically to ideate and create the exact pieces of content that help your potential customers move forward in the buyer's journey. And you manage to do this because you know exactly the intent of your buyers. So make sure the third column in your content calendar mirrors that intent. But how do you go from the 3 checkpoints that we just covered to a finished content calendar ready to drive revenue? So just like we use a GPS to navigate a city like Istanbul, we can also use tools that help us build a content calendar way faster. With this ChatGPT prompt, you can definitely accelerate your content calendar ideation while making sure that you still tick all the boxes. So this is the exact prompt I use. I'm building a content calendar for and then you describe your product or service targeted at, and you describe your ideal customer. For the pain point of, you just list one pain point, give me 3 different ideas that target the 3 stages of the buyer's journey: awareness, consideration, and conversion. I highly recommend you to experiment with this prompt and others, but of course, don't just take the output that ChatGPT gives you. Make sure that you actually make it better with all the knowledge that you have about your topic, customers, and industry. But now that you have the perfect content calendar, you still need to post your content somewhere, right? But what if your profile looks like a dusty old map that hasn't been updated in centuries? Yeah, your content will flop. So make sure you watch this video to see how I built a LinkedIn profile that made me 100K plus and how you can build your profile to that level too.